I feel like although what did they just legalize? I think it was a southern state just legalized for medical use. So it might have been Alabama actually, which is really crazy because they're bugging. That's like life if
They're
you have
bugging
an eighth.
on anything.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know. Yeah, like
They're bugging on anything that isn't just drugs.
anything. If it's not Bama football, they're not fucking with it. And that's like for everybody. Like nobody wants to go to Alabama for much unless it's a football game. So it's like I don't know how that whole dispensary thing is gonna go for them if they choose to open up like just medical and then go to recreational and then the people that are the shop owners that's gonna get a little testy when people start wanting their side.
Well, this is my point though. Like half of like the country is like that. Like geographically, most of the country's like that.
Yeah, but if you
Population speaking, most of the country is the other way.
yeah, but I'm saying like the population down in Alabama, like the people that are like the age where they would be the weed smoker is probably just the college students that live there for the 4 to 5 years.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like
I know, yeah.
your demographic for the people that are going to stay there after. It's like, well, I'm not sure if that's really the
No, potheads.
what they're staying. Yeah, I'm not
Potheads
sure.
probably aren't even going to that school.
That's
Yeah, the
yeah.
rest.
Maybe that country. Maybe that side of that part of the country. We see legalization go forward, but then it doesn't really.
You see like a state like Nebraska going forward.
I mean,
Wisconsin's gonna be hard. That's my home state. That's gonna be
But I mean,
hard as
like,
fuck.
a bunch of other states in the Midwest, they went quick. You know what I mean?
They went medical.
Yeah.
They
So
went
I mean, that's.
Like I don't think it's Michigan recreational yet. It might be.
I think Michigan is
I
recreational.
think that might be the first one to go. And I think maybe I think just the city of Chicago, not all of Illinois. I know Illinois is medical. Should look this up. But
That's okay. I was just gonna be like, I could just pull up a map real quick of recreation and medical states.
yeah, because realistically, what I'm getting towards is without interstate commerce, this shit's just gonna be fucking tax haven, and people are still gonna run to the corner to get meat. You know what I mean?
True.
Like how is it that we're going to beat that? You know, that's my question. Without interstate commerce, I think with interstate commerce, there's no doubt people will be like. But the issue is Cali brands are going to have an immediate, like fucking stronghold on the whole game.
I mean,
From the
we're
start.
already seeing some Cali brands out, like, with their interstate commerce, like, pushing through podcasts, you know what I mean? Shit might not be fully legal, too, you know what I mean? We're not 100% sure because it's still not federally legal.
Yeah.
So, interstate commerce, it could get very tricky because you're shipping to a state that is legal, but, you know, transporting through another state, that shit isn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, if it's like state by state, you know what I mean? Where
Now
if it's
you're
like
definitely going to see piracy.
exactly. So that's where things will get really tricky with states in the South that are starting to pop up. You know what I mean? Because like Florida, that's its own little country down there. Florida's been rocking with the medical shit because of the elderly, and it's been helping. You know what I mean? It's been
That's because the New Yorkers are out.
that's a
They're
great.
like, God damn it, we like to smoke. I don't care if it's decriminalized. Up
But
there.
those states also along the Atlantic coast, they're not all legalized in any form. So it's like, yeah, getting it through the interstates from, you know what I mean, from Florida up to even Delaware, it's like that shit could be very sketchy because passing through Virginia or Maryland, it's like, well, that's a medical state only. Your recreation shop sending to other. So then, that's where things would get very tricky.
I mean, I think
interstate
shit's going to get
commerce.
messy for sure. But here's the other thing. I feel like we could develop a way where we need to start airshipping shit.
Yeah. I can see
And
that.
it's not that the weed is lighter. A pound is a pound. So, how is it that we can make it cost effective that I can fucking airdrop that shit to my warehouse?
It's really
That might just be some rich person shit, really.
yeah. I mean, you see rich people, they just get helicopters when they get enough money because they want to just fly.
Private jets and shit.
Yeah, so
And people be getting arrested at, the airport and shit.
yeah, so I mean, there's ways that people could go around things and like pricing and all of those, but I'm honestly I don't know. I think putting things in the air will definitely help it, but
Because that removes the idea of like, oh, I'm gonna get pulled over in a state, or I'm gonna get hit by some dumbass gang or some shit that knows my truck.
yeah,
The equivalent to hitting a fucking what's it called, a Brinks truck. You're gonna be hitting a Cookies goddamn 18-wheeler. That's great.
yeah, that's true.
Or
But-
train. What about by train though? We did forget about that.
Yeah, I mean,
But
there's-
freight's easy to that. We'll just have more train and derails.
I
We're
mean,
gonna be fucking up food supplies.
freight
and
trains
shit.
have been getting stolen forever, so I mean, it's yeah. Honestly, I think the legalization industry is moving into a new
I feel
realm
like
that
we're
they
getting to
didn't
a gray
really.
area.
Yeah, I think they didn't really fully see this going. That like, oh shit.
Like, you know where Thailand's at?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you can own a shop, but you're not supposed to smoke in public. I feel like we're moving towards not that specifically, but like an area where it's like, these are just, how do we even function in this? How did we get here?
Honestly, as a New Yorker, I would like to see a bunch of more like clubs pop up where it's like, yo, you could just pull up. It's like a cigar lounge, but just a weed. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, because there's a bunch of those in California and other states and in Thailand, like you said, and those are like new markets. So it's like, all right, these newer markets, people want to just get up a shop because it's the, you know what I mean? Everybody wants the weed, but it's, you know what I mean? People will pay a little bit more if you just door charge $200 to get into the lounge, and then you sit in the lounge and then you buy your cigar. You know what I mean?
Do you think we're gonna end up mirroring what like 1920 society was, where you can smoke indoors while eating again? Because that's what that law is to prevent.
Yeah,
Is to prevent smoking cigarettes indoors. That makes really
yeah.
tobacco products.
But I think certain people will buy a full building instead of just renting out a space to allow their customers to, you know what? Yeah, I own the upstairs. We make our food downstairs. You know what I mean? It's no longer just like, I think we will start see. Because I mean, they're even going after Pizza Pusher like a motherfucker. Everywhere he pops up, he's getting shut down quick. So
I mean,
so it's what we're saying. Like, we want to see it, but they're not really allowing it because they're.
he did. I mean, I love that brand. That brand is great. But he did get into like a how the fuck are you doing this like area, real quick. Bro.
And it
Before
was
that shit was
2000
even legalized,
It was
here.
2016, 17.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, it was like, how do you have a spot in New York City where I can smoke inside and eat pizza with weed in it?
The Coney Island pop-up shit.
And then that was
wild.
crazy.
He had that there for a minute too. Yeah, I still follow him. I still see all his shit. But damn, like the way that they're going after people. I mean, you see it on the news all the time. Like the smoke shops in New York City, but it's really just a front for a weed shop. It's like.
Oh, that's happening in every town now, though, too.
Every
And the issue with it is they aren't selling good weed.
No, they're selling, and that's not to like. Every pre-roll is made with shake of the pack. You know what I mean? But the smoke shops, it's like the
What
lowest.
pack is this?
The lowest that you'll get from your
Pack
club.
brown?
Exactly.
Like, holy
You
shit.
take that shit out, and you don't even
I
want
think
to.
the strain name's called Reggie. Like, what? Jesus.
So yeah, those are like, honestly, the interstate commerce. It might be a better market for like shops to just set up a website and then you could ship to your state or you could ship to local states that are also, instead of opening up a shop on a busy street in the city and then get shut down
Yeah,
because all the social media posts and all of that.
because that's what I was thinking. Like when Weed Maps popped up, I thought that was like Uber Eats essentially, and it is in LA. People love that.
It
Like,
is over there. Yeah.
but that is not over here.
No. No.
Maybe
over here,
maybe yet, but like we need that, man.
Yeah, I think they need to allow the recreational stuff on weed maps in New York, and then allow more shops to actually open up, because there's shops that open and you shut them down. And
Because it's like I can smoke it in New York, but like,
where am I buying it?
where am I buying it from? New Jersey,
Yeah,
Massachusetts. I still have to travel, and that's technically illegal to do.
exactly. That's why you got to just smoke it all while you're just over there, and then just be like, shit, I wish I had some when I got home.
Yeah, and the laws are fucked up. I mean, like, hey, I'm not saying make every law federal. I think you have to keep states' rights. I'm a firm believer in separation and division between the two. But, like, bro, you can't grow in New Jersey, but you can in New York. And then the difference between growing in New York and growing in Massachusetts, I think, is 2 plants. And then you can't buy anything just like it in New York and Vermont. But you can grow like the most, I think, up there.
Yeah.
And then in Maine, I don't even know if they have shops, but you've been allowed to grow for a minute.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it's, I think, less plants. I think it's like 2 per person, like, or like 3 per person.
Yeah, that kind of sucked. The New York, where you could have like I think the number is perfect. You know what I mean? Because if you have,
6, 3, and 3 it's cool.
and it's cool because it's like
It's cool,
it
but
keeps you in the loop of
here's my question.
3 mature and 3 immature. So it's like, all right, when this one's done, this one will start to go, and that's where it's like they tell you to do these things in a way where it's like, yo, you could have your own weed year round. You don't need to go to shops, and I think that's where they work these laws in, where it's like, yo, we're gonna allow you to grow at home because we're not gonna allow you to open up a shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're only gonna let our friends open these shops, and then if you try, we're just gonna immediately shut you down because you guys are taking all the sales. So it's like, yeah, I think border states, like people like states like New York and New Jersey, and New York and other states, I think they need to like work together, and like those state governments need to work together to create laws where it's like, yo, all right, yeah, you guys are fully legal, we're fully legal. If you catch one of our guys on your territory with weed, why are you sending him to jail for being in your state with weed if he's allowed to be in, you know what I mean? So it's a very like gray line, like you were saying. It's
Wait,
like,
not even that. My question for you was going to be, if we're all allowed to have 6 plants, 3 and 3, but we all want to grow the best shit, we need to start with more than 3 immature plants to figure out which 3 immature plants we want.
yeah,
So, like, am I allowed to do that or no?
yeah. I mean, you see, I mean,
Because it's not hurting someone to have 3 literal, like, clones that aren't going to be able to produce flower for, 2 to 3 more months.
yeah, and
Where it's like, what are you going to arrest me right now because I have 9 seedlings?
yeah, like that plant is like a clone is like the very start of. So it's like if you put a random seed into the ground in your garden, like the first 2 weeks it pops up.
Yeah.
It's like that's that. You know what I mean? It's like your strawberries, your whatever you're growing isn't coming yet. You got to wait a whole 4 more months for your anything you would see to pop up.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. I honestly I think they should regulate it in a way where it's easy to understand for everybody who's gonna partake in any. You know what I mean?
But that's what I was saying is, like, I think they're looking at it as if, like, most people, and I think most people will, they'll just grow whatever plant they can get from, I'm assuming, places like what's it called? Cletus Farms will be able to sell clones and stuff like that eventually.
Yeah.
And they'll just grow those. But the thing is, they'll have complaints and whatnot. Oh, I didn't get the product I wanted because it really came down to you didn't grow it right because you didn't buy enough clones to look at which ones are the strongest.
Yeah.
Pick the strongest, grow those, clone a couple of those, keep them in rotation, or mother one. Like, there's hundreds of things you can do.
Yeah.
But my point is if we're all just casually growing, we're not going to have good homegrown weed, which I think is what they want. I think they want bad homegrown weed, so you're going to go to the dispensary and buy an eighth that's marked for 55. You're going to buy, it's going to have sales tax, an excise tax, and probably
And then the
another
state
tax. Yeah.
So
It can have up to another 2 to 3 taxes added on top of those 2.
Yeah. It's 30% of like whatever the price is. Like they take a 30%.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
So it's like that's why the prices get marked up so high, because it's like, all right, yo, I want to set my eighth for $50, but I gotta pay these guys 30% of my sale. I gotta charge you $80 because
some of them
I gotta get my 50 or my $40. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where it's like the shops don't really want to fuck you, but if they don't want to get shut down, they have to charge you each of those tax.
Yeah.
Each one.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're doing a great job with like IDs and keeping it fairly like compared to bars. Let's be honest, guys.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. How many people do we know who are underage in bars? Like fairly a lot.
Most hometown.
And
Most
every bar staff knows, and they can't say anything or they won't be making any money.
Yeah.
So
it's a fuck industry, and honestly, with the tax, back to the start of the topic, I think there will be additional tax if you want to set up your shop for interstate commerce in the weed market moving forward, and it's just gonna be the heavy hitters might just be the people that take over. You might just see Cookie shipping worldwide, you know what I mean, and all those other big brands, and it might be harder for a startup company to even ship to their friends. Say like somebody moves to a state because it's easier for them to grow. They have nicer land over there.
Yeah.
But all their market is here. It's like, well, shit. They gotta work in ways to set aside that much money to pay that tax. So I think we will see more taxes coming for shops when interstate commerce becomes more of a common thing. Because we see it with seeds, and I'm not sure how much they charge them. So.
And seeds they're fairly a good price, but it's just like they add up quick. I mean, 5-pack start at like a low is like $60.
Yeah, so and it's the same thing where it's like, yeah,
If you want good,
they probably just want a $25, you know what I mean? Sell each seed for $5, but then you gotta pay for shipping and then pay for packaging and then all of that. Businesses cost money, and then when it comes to regulations and all that, they're gonna want more money. So
yeah.
I think we might see a little more time before we see the full state shipping to other states fully. You know what I mean? Sending a full pack. Oh, I want to order an ounce from this company. I think that we might see a little bit longer.
Yeah. It doesn't say the boom, like we've already covered, the boom of legalization, I feel like, is starting to slow down. We start to see more states going, because for a while we saw this whole East Coast block just flip.
Yeah.
And we were like, dang, this could just go everywhere, and it really didn't. And then I was going to say, too, I feel like the branding, like the boom of brands popping up has started to slow down as well.
Yeah, honestly, I would say so too, because we've seen recently in the major cities the big brands open up big, nice shops. You know what I mean? So that I feel like a bunch of people, they go back to the drawing boards and then they just stick with their small time thing until they have enough pocket change to be like, all right, I have enough money to pay this $200,000 that I'm going to need to pay to open up a shop on the main street in New York City. You know what I mean? So it's...
Which I think will be cool, and obviously you're going to see, like I compared earlier to the bars, like you see with the Anheuser Busch brands, you have the Miller brands, all those beer companies opening up, but you also have craft beers, which are really nice. So you go to LBI, you have LBI craft beers. You come up here, you have craft beers like at the local, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Places like that. You had 2 villains that closed, but
yeah, the district, whatever, I forget their name, but over there in New City.
Oh, the Burger Loft.
The Burger Loft, they have their whole...
Yeah, Nicky Katz has one over there.
Yeah, shout out Nicky Katz.
But I think having that come from the Homegrow territory would be really, really cool. But it doesn't look like the laws are shaping us up to do so.
No. And honestly, I hope it does, because you see a lot of people on social media and they're old people, you know what I mean? They've been in this thing, keeping it low-key for decades, so it's like, if those people get in the lane where they could get up shops, and then younger people like us, we could, you know what I mean, link those people, because right now they're still hiding, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Once the older people that have been in this game for a while are allowed to open up shots and bring the home grows to these local dispensaries, then I think we'll start to see the push. But for now, I think, like you said, we're just going to see average home grows for most people.